I am not a host.
Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
And this is the perfect start to the Social Blade Show. I am JD Rucker, your tour guide on today's cruise.
And I'm Patrick Burries.
I am Aaron Ryan.
And I'm Victor Barrett.
And I am Jason Urgo.
And we are going to cut straight into the show because at this point we have no idea what's going to happen next. This is the Wild Wild West on Social Blade Show. Thank you all for coming. Today we are talking about social media. For those who don't know what social media is, don't worry, we don't either, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to first start with a story that actually our wonderful Jason Urgo knows all about. Facebook is the most valuable source of traffic in the internet.
Yeah, the ad agency Chiquita performed a study in September where they tracked the browsing habits of 33 million users and discovered that the links, basically they tracked the links from a variety of sources to see which sources of traffic provided the most visitor loyalty, which basically means which sites people clicked or found the links on, clicked on, and then came back to the site more than once, bookmarked or whatever. Anyway, according to their data, Facebook was the winner with 20% of the following initial links returning again. Digg came in close second with 16% of the people coming back a second time. And after that came Yahoo, which for some reason had better loyalty than Google.
The better loyalty than Google was what he was going to finish saying if you did not hear him. Jason,
did my audio cut out there?
Your audio?
Yeah, it probably did.
No, yeah, I was just I was being a ventriloquist and covering your voice. It didn't matter.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, basically, it kind of makes sense that Facebook has the most visitor loyalty because, at least I think for the most part, people on Facebook are friends with people they know in real life. So you might trust them a little more than random people from a link on Digg or anywhere else. Twitter also makes sense having the least amount of visitor loyalty because there's just so many things that go by on Twitter that you might click on something for a second and then click off and never come back again. But what kind of surprises me is why Yahoo has higher loyalty than Google and Bing, like significantly statistical higher loyalty. I don't know. Does that make sense to you guys?
Probably their fantasy sports.
They do have good fantasy sports. Yes, they do.
But what it means is
they're free.
No, but it's not that. It means basically search engine traffic. Like if people search for Social Blade on Yahoo, they'll be more likely to come back to another show than they would on Google or Bing. I don't understand that exactly.
Unless they found this show tonight, and then they won't. But I'm not sure, to be honest. I know this much. I know that there's been a lot of studies about Yahoo and Google and Bing that have been happening over the last several months, really, because of the whole Bing and Yahoo situation. And one thing about Yahoo that was very clear regarding the loyalty is that the people that use Yahoo for search don't really understand the internet. That was proven by a study. They're still using IE6, and yeah, so they still use Yahoo. So if any of you people are in the room, which I doubt, then stop using Yahoo. And Aaron, can you say Yahoo for us?
No. Yahoo?
Yahoo?
Yeah, but you think about it, and they have the most catchy way to remember them. Let's make fun of Aaron. Yahoo. Yahoo.
Yahoo, right.
So, when you think about searching, that comes into your head. It's like, oh, okay, I mean, Google doesn't have that. They have the barcode, but they don't have something catchy like that. So maybe that's what sticks out in people's minds.
Perhaps. And it can also be a men and woman thing, keep in mind as well. I know that a lot of, for the most part, a study showed about approximately a year ago that Google was more male-dominated and Yahoo was more women-dominated. Similar to other things. Tell us about what else is female-dominated, the only female in the room. That was you, Aaron.
That is so true, guys. And those that have the male ego, please cover your ears. Because women do seem to be dominating our social media sites. According to an infographic created by informationisbeautiful.com, the stats were compiled by Brian Solis from Google Ad Planner, a place where you can gather traffic statistics for your sites. The information gathered showed that women dominated social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, FriendFeed, MySpace, and Bebo, which are very high top places. Which I don't know if it's so surprising because women do seem to love to share. There are a few places where it's equal with men and women, such as LinkedIn, DeviantArt, and YouTube. But the one place that men still seem to reign is our social news site, Digg.com. So I want to know how many of the ladies in the room, how many social networking sites you happen to be on, and to see if this matches the statistics. Are a lot of people here on Digg? And
Yeah.
I think probably a good percentage of our viewers right now in the live show are on Digg. But yeah, just in general though, it really does surprise me that all of the other ones are so dominated, but Digg isn't. I actually, before the show, was talking to someone, Tamar, who used to be on Digg, who got banned, and she was saying that it was because Digg hates women. I don't think that's really true, but who knows?
I mean,
think,
for me, it's, you know, Digg has its fair share of women in terms of people like we run into on a daily basis. My question to them is like, what about Digg inherently just, you know, doesn't allow women, doesn't facilitate more women be part of the community, you know, because they're so good on most other social news websites, you know, why not Digg? That's my question. Is it something that Digg's got to do to, you know, help that along? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I honestly believe there's a lot of good female diggers out there. A lot of them are better and smarter and more knowledgeable than most of the male diggers out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll leave it at that.
I think it's more than that, though. I think, you know, if you look at the places that I listed where women are dominant, I think it's because they have the opportunity to chat. And even though that sounds like a stereotype, it is very true. Women love to communicate and share photos and share their life and what's going on with other people. So I think because maybe perhaps Digg is less than that, it's more newsworthy, more so than, hey, what did you do with your kid last week? Where you can share, you know, your kid taking its first steps on YouTube or talk about it on Facebook. That's probably why women dominate, or through those statistics, women seem to dominate, allegedly.
My question, though, is who actually still uses Classmates.com? That's on this list here also.
What is Classmates.com?
Classmates.com is the thing that you sign up for like 10 years ago because there was no Facebook or MySpace, and they charge you, or they make you pay, I don't know, $100 or something, so you can see everyone else in your class. I thought that site would have died a long time ago.
I just want to say, for the record, Jason, nobody's in your class. You're in a class of your own.
Oh.
Now, this one, all women, any women in the room, please close your ears because we're going to be talking about Digg.com for a brief moment. So this is our only territory, our only zone apparently where we can talk. So this is male bonding moment, and it's not good news, guys. There's actually a mixture of good news and bad news. Today, whether it was by omission or it's still undetermined. Kevin Rose says he's going to try to bring it back. Others say that it's not coming back. Bottom line is the icons were removed from the front page. If somebody could check real quick to make sure that that is still the case as of this broadcast, my bet is that it's not going to change. That that even though there's a placeholder for them, that they're going to see how much load time or whatever. Let me go to Jason. Jason, tell me the technical specs.
Yeah, no, honestly, the whole time when you were asking me, I was waiting for Digg.com to load. It just takes forever to load anyway. I honestly don't think the icons were the biggest deal. But what they're trying to do, they've tried to use some of the centralized image servers or whatever that can split the traffic up so it's not all coming from their own servers here to see if they can increase the page load times. And one of the things they tried to do was take off the 15 tiny little thumbnail images from the page, which is true that it does take an extra little bit of time for each one to load. but I think it really does enhance the experience, and it is kind of bad that they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got an idea. Hey, I got an idea.
Shoot.
How about Digg stops flirting with Twitter and Facebook? So we load up right away, and then we keep our avatars.
Well, on Twitter, when you tweet, there's avatars on there for each tweet.
All right, excellent. Victor, what were you going to say?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, I was going to say...
Quit integrating with that. It takes time to load that stuff up.
I mean, because in their blog they mentioned that their team just overall is going back to the drawing board in terms of trying to skim off a lot of the bloat in their pages, and all those icons were scaled PNGs. I mean, they really didn't do that much. I mean, I didn't really notice a big difference in terms of loading the load time. I think that they have more to do with their AJAX and all their kind of code that kind of makes it look good. That has more to do with why it takes taking so long to load. And to me, it kind of looks like Reddit, like instead of an icon, it's just like, hey, submitted by this person.
Just to comment on that, I'm just looking, and one of the icons was about or less than 1K, 0.66K for the one I'm looking at right here. So yeah, they were really small. It's just the only thing is there were 15 extra image requests, which each one stacks up a little. So yeah, this will cut off some of the load time, but not that much.
And then there's the thumbnails for picture submissions and news submissions and video submissions.
Right.
What do you mean?
At the end of the
I just don't.
At the end of the day, I really think that they do need to work on the load time, and I'm happy that they're finally focusing on this.
They're not.
I just don't think this is really the right way to do it.
This is not the right way to do it, and this was not the reason they did it.
I totally agree.
I mean,
everybody who uses the site. Well, no, anyone who uses the site on a near daily basis understands that Digg just runs slow. It runs a lot slower than 80-90% of internet sites out there.
99, I'd say.
And I definitely agree. This isn't the right way to go about looking at how they can skim off page load times. But at the same time, I think it really.
Go ahead.
It's more about, I think, what they're trying to assess the impact of it is kind of rolling out this adjustment to the way the site works, that we're not impacted by seeking out friends and avatars in the recommendation engine, that we're resorted to just judge it based on headline and not who submitted it. And I think that's really the deeper question here.
Bingo.
In terms of why Digg probably rolled this change.
Digg is trying to change. I mean, their homepage, trying to make it a more reliable traffic source for publishers. So, I think if women were running it, though, they'd keep the avatar.
Oh, stop it! Go tweet or something. Listen, last week.
We wouldn't have shouts, we'd have nags.
Yeah, nags.
Hurry up, dig this already, would you?
Last week, here's the thing. Last week they did the. Or not last week, actually, just a few days ago, they increased the Digg count up to 200. And as you can see, or above 200 now, it's up to 300. And then they've theoretically brought it up almost indefinitely, other than they are technically banning people if they dig too much. With that said, so blind digging has become more into effect. This, to me, to coincide with what Victor was saying, is just another way to basically counteract the effect of, okay, we need the page views. As Urgo pointed out, they were losing page views over a while, losing total digs, or they weren't gaining in page views as quickly as they could be. So they increase the number of digs that you can get to increase the dig counts. But to combat the blind digging, they take away the avatars and make it more difficult to where you actually have to read and go through more slowly, and it's not just an automated process like it can be normally. That's my conspiracy theory of the week. And we'll take a brief pause. Hold on one second. There we go. That's to make certain that there's a break, because I don't want to bring up our sponsor, HotHardware.com.
Well, wait a minute. Before you get into that, I thought we were going to talk about big changes on Digg Statistics. Not really anything about it. Digg Statistics was run over by a virus. There's a new site. It's under a new name right now. And I think I can put it into the room.
What is it?
Friendstatistics.com is the site they're going to be working off now.
And if I go to this site, I'm not going to be Trojaned or anything like that?
No, you won't get Trojan. And anytime you go to that site, if it gets taken over again, if someone wants you to upload something or download an Adobe Reader or something, then you know it's been taken over. Just get back out of there.
Yeah, basically, in case you're the one person that doesn't know, Digg Statistics over the past week was discovered to have spyware on it. Basically, there was when you go to the site, it had a download of Adobe Flash Player. That's what it said, but it really was spyware. So, yeah, be careful.
So you don't need to download anything from any of these sites, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good.
No.
It looks just like Digg Statistics. So it's friendstatistics.com, spelled properly, and you put in your username there, and you go for it. Thank you, Patrick. I'm sorry I forgot about that.
Well, not a problem, buddy.
You know, and as you're analyzing, you should also make certain that your hardware is good. Make sure that your hardware is hot. That's why I suggest going to hothardware.com, where you can get the latest reviews and insight into the technology's cutting edge. That is hothardware.com. Drew Carey goes to hothardware.com. That's what I heard. What do we know about Drew, Victor?
Well, there's actually the story involves a couple of Drews. Just to give some background, a lot of people have probably heard of this, but at Drew, which is owned by Drew Olenoff on Twitter, is auctioning off his 4-letter username, and 4-letter names are pretty rare on Twitter, and for him to have at Drew is a pretty cool thing. He's the only Drew with that Twitter name. And so he's auctioning it on behalf of Live Strong, which is a nonprofit that supports cancer research. And being a cancer patient himself, you know, this is a cause that he really is living on a day-to-day basis. And so he's auctioning off his Twitter username for a really good cause. Currently, Drew from TV, who's also, as many of you know, is also Drew Carey and currently host of The Price is Right, has put a bid of $25,000, and he's going to up that bid to $100,000 if he gets up to 100,000 followers on his current Twitter name, which is @DrewFromTV. So if you're out there, make sure to follow that account. But it's a really great story. It's another example of social media being used for social good, and you know, I'm definitely a proponent and someone who wants to support that use of social media, and you know, currently and in the near future. And yeah, you know, it's just all in all feel good social media story that I think everyone could enjoy.
I feel good.
Yeah, you know, it makes you feel good. It's like, hey, Twitter doing something real.
Yeah.
Can we add that link to our blog this week?
Oh yeah, I'll make sure to post it on the blog. And yeah, I think it's a pretty awesome thing that, you know, in this context, social media is really doing a lot of good. And yeah.
Yeah.
And you only have until like November 9th, right? November 9th
that's right.
to be able to bid.
Oh, I don't think we're going to have any issues there. My guess was
I'm not sure if anyone's going to want to outbid Drew Carey for the name now.
Well, it's not just that. He had to be at 100,000.
Right.
Yeah, he's at 67,000. He needs 33,000 more followers in about 1 month. So if everyone who's currently following Jason Urgo were to stop following him and follow Drew Carey instead.
No, not stop. Additionally.
I'm sorry. Did I say stop? Holy cow, what a jerk I am. Yeah, if you just follow
so you know,
Drew,
JD, there is no @Jason Urgo on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. It's actually First Dig. So follow First Dig and Drew from TV and Drew and 0BOY. Moving on. Speaking of Twitter, the Twitter CEO had a lot to say, and this is actually, to me, this is a very profound story, and I didn't even realize until they pointed out just how profound it was. There are potentially some humongous changes coming down the pipe. And this all according to Evan Williams, co-founder of Twitter. He unveiled that they're going to be considering, and everything is under consideration, so which means it's probably definitely going to happen. Considering having user-generated lists to follow tweets from many originators on particular subjects. They'll be able to share them with various groups such as friends, family, social media groupings of their choice, and they can also use geographical locations. Basically, say not just what you're tweeting, but where you're tweeting from. Which all of this is great. This is all gearing towards A, the groupings within social media, and B, the geolocations that the mobile technology, which is very big for Twitter's success. Mobile technology is very important. The part that got me, and this is one where I want your all's opinion. The part that got me was the reputation validating system. Did you guys read the particular part of the story about reputation validating system?
Tell us about it.
Okay. Well, basically, the idea is they're going to start weeding out fake Twitter users and try to give Twitter more credibility as an information source. Now, the idea is that they're going to be using it based upon ratings within the community itself, and that to me is just, basically, if you're a spammer, then you need to stop spamming or just get out because you're going to be found out. If you're not a spammer, then don't become one. And if you like spam, try it with eggs because it's phenomenal. Like that.
Yeah, it's basically trying to combine some of the features from other voting sites like Digg and Reddit and other things like that to vote on people. I think it's a pretty cool idea because everyone knows follower counts can be faked, in which these probably will be able to as well. But it's just an extra thing there that adds it in to make other people more valuable. I think it's a great idea.
Oh, I definitely think that Twitter has to game the game if they're going to keep up. Because, it's so annoying when you check your followers and all of a sudden you have, 30 people that aren't real. And I find the bother, or even the spam is even becoming more and more kind of mimicking real life. They'll put names with people more so now and sometimes a picture instead of just the little Twitter icon. So, I don't know. It's like you have to actually go in now and check it. It's not so obvious. And so I think it's a smart move on Twitter's behalf to try to game the game.
Absolutely. I know that I'm a real person. I know that I can pretend to be a real person at least 75 of the times. So none of my accounts are in jeopardy. We also have another real person with us today. This is a really good person. This is a person who understands entertainment. You know what? I'm just going to let Jason, Patrick, tell us all about this real person.
Hey, JT, real quick.
Yes.
There was a Buzz Edition, a.k.a. Susan, gave us an update on the whole Drew Twitter situation. So apparently it's $1 million for 1 million followers because it looks like he's on track to break that 100,000 mark anyway.
Excellent. Well,
I
will send my my 800,000 followers your way, and you'll be almost there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Tweeting now.
But please do go on. Sorry for my
Thanks a lot, Susan. No. I can't see the guys. I do apologize. I can't see the chat room. So if anybody says anything to me or about me, I'm not going to be able to read it. So say whatever you want. It's fair game.
This shall be interesting.
My computer is too delicate right now to risk looking in the chat. So we're going to stay focused, and we're going to focus on PopEater.com. Patrick, tell us about it.
Hang on a second. Before I get into this, I want to type something in the chat room. Hang tight.
Okay.
Now, I want to introduce the editor-in-chief from PopEater.com, Jason Kaufman. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fine. How's everybody tonight?
I'm doing good.
Great. How you doing?
You're stealing my thunder with the Drew Carey stuff. I was going to talk all about it.
Oh,
jeez.
Oh, did I miss that?
Okay, it's great. I was glad with that update there about the 1 million followers. He wants it by December 31st. So 1 million followers, $1 million. It's fantastic for Lance Armstrong's organization there. Great stuff.
Oh yeah.
Be strong. Yeah, that is good stuff. Also, you got a young man in the house that's got a YouTube potential. You want to talk to us about that before we get started with the actual interview?
Yes, this is the first night that my young son Ethan is going to sleep without diapers. So we've told him, if you gotta go, wake up. Don't go into bed. So
oh wow,
wake up means he might just stroll right behind me right here. So we'll cross our fingers. Well, we cross our fingers that either he does or he doesn't.
Either way, it's a good thing.
Look at it, I guess, right?
Well, let's hope he gets up and does it. Having 4 boys and all of them at this point, since the youngest one is 10, since they're all potty trained at this point, thank God, it is an adventure. Tell us a little bit about PopEater and PopEater.com and how it got its start.
Certainly, we're a pop culture and entertainment news site under the AOL umbrella. And we provide obviously pop culture news for AOL music sites, AOL television, movie phone. We actually took over a domain from AOL Music. They just had a pop music blog that was PopEater.com, and my team was working underneath AOL News, providing all the entertainment news coverage for AOL News. And our friends at AOL Music were very nice enough to give us the domain last August. So we took over and just began to establish TwEater as a brand that didn't just cover music, but covered movies, covered television. And really the MO of all the editors working on the site is really to, basically be tracking the news as it's happening across the web in real time. It's not just the stories, but how the stories are evolving across different sites from the time that our editors are in the morning. They're looking at whether it's sites in the U.S., whether it's sites across the pond in the U.K., to really see what people are talking about and how they're positioning it. And then we really try to bring it and package it together. A good buddy of ours, Gary Vaynerchuk, if you know him from Wine Library TV. We were lucky enough to do one of his Wine Library episodes a few weeks ago, and he had a great way of putting it. We basically are DJing entertainment news around the internet, a little different kind of spin on it. And we just love, again, to look at the stories and then try to figure out different ways to back them that are really using all the bells and whistles that are available to us, and everything from YouTube to other kinds of video to blingies, tons of polls, lots of Twitter, lots of looking at Facebook and how people are reacting, and we really try to, again, to bring that all together. We, any editor that's working on a story, all we're trying to do is convey the excitement that we have when we see a big story break, and really get that out to the readers who are reading the stories too, just to kind of feel the energy that's around it. Because again, it's the greatest business. You just never know minute to minute and day to day what's going to happen. So we all just try to give that juice that we have and bring it out to the readers.
I have a question.
Well, good. I mean, some of the things some of the questions that I'm going to ask, you've actually kind of touched upon. And before I elaborate on those, we'll go ahead and get with a little bit further with the questioning. Next question. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with TwEater.com. I mean, a little bit of a background, like you were in school and then you hooked up or whatever. Just
I've
how you.
I've been at AOL now for 10 years. That's a long time, and when I came on AOL, I had been working. MSN had their city guide site Sidewalk.com that I had been the film editor and music editor for a year before they were acquired by Ticketmaster way back when. So I jumped to AOL and was running movie content for them. And then just little by little was, again, transitioning and going off of movie content and kind of hitting more on just, an entertainment homepage that AOL had. And little by little it started to be more just about the news coverage and really seeing that the stories that were moving the needle were obviously all related to topical information, to breaking news. So kind of transitioned over to the AOL News team, and then from there we really, TwEater, even though the brand has been on the site for about a year now, myself and my team, we've been doing what we've been doing for about 5 years right now, at first under the AOL News umbrella. So it was great to get the domain and really kind of establish what we were trying to do underneath AOL News as our own brand last August.
All right, will you speak about you and your team? How many people are in your team, on your team?
It's myself, and we have 5 editors and 2 photo editors that work with us. And then again, we also have the normal small staff with dev support, people who are working with our outreach, working with other sites around the web. So pretty nimble, and we like it that way. We have freelancers that we work with as well, who are wonderful and give us great contributions, and are again out there doing party coverage for us. And my editors and our freelancers are doing a lot of original interviews, lots of trend pieces. So yeah, the small team, we're based in New York, at AOL headquarters, working side by side with the Digg team, Movie Phone, and with the AOL News team. But we're small and we're tight, and we have a great time doing what we do.
Nice, very nice. I guess, you kind of explained some of your day-to-day operations that you take care of. What made TwEater decide to turn towards social media, and how the results been so far? And remember, this, we're going to get back into this a little bit more. So,
yeah, I'll save specifics for later, but obviously all of the editors on the site are avid Facebook users. Some of our editors were on Twitter before others were. And certainly, coming from, being at AOL for such a long period of time, and for so long it was all just about looking at, message boards and chat rooms and seeing how people were interacting. It was always, even 7 or 8 years ago, it was always a fantasy that you'd really be able to be talking with people about the news events in real time as they were happening. So certainly as we started to, play around with Facebook, we'd actually last year with Facebook had tried to tried to invent a fake persona to really kind of be able to actually act as a friend. And we got caught on that, and we were we were thrilled to see obviously the updates that they made with the fan pages, and just that the fan pages are now within the news feed, so that your fans are really able to track what you do as it's happening, react in real time. We turned to social media just because it's a wonderful way to be talking with the people who are reading the site. They're giving us feedback on the site, which is just wonderful. They're giving us everything from very strong opinions. Especially on Facebook, just very thoughtful opinions. It's much different in terms of the comments that we're seeing on Facebook than the comments that we would see even within the commenting system on our own site. And everything, from this one wonderful woman, Karen, who follows on us on Facebook, who seems to have a poem for every news event that comes out immediately after it happens, and we look forward to her prose all the time. To it was a great thing when Nancy, Mary Travers from Peter, Paul, and Mary died about a month ago now. Originally, when AP had moved the story, her age had been 10 years lower. I think that they had her dead at 62 instead of dead at 72, and it's obviously a normal error that we see from time to time.
Wow. Yeah.
Our fans on Facebook were the ones that notified us about it before the actual correction was made in terms of the wire that was coming in. So, just even that in terms of just a great dialogue to have with people who are reading the site. And, I remember that I'm blanking on the gentleman's name who alerted us to that, but it's just wonderful. It's like, thank you very much for giving us the tip. And, we went and we got an old clip of Mary playing in like 61 or 62 at the bitter end that somebody had some great footage of and was able to send it out to him right away as a big thank you. And it's just to have that dialogue really with the people who are reading the site. Nothing gives us greater pleasure than that. Everything we do, we're doing for them and to get feedback, and they let us. They're also, again, we're obviously covering entertainment news. We will cover major stories, and some of the stories have a sleazier tone to them. We have to cover them. We try to cover them in a very clean and precise way. But the fans let us know. They let us know when they're having enough of something. They let us know whether they're pro-Kate or pro-John. They're very pro-Kate Gosselin. They're very anti-John Gosselin. It's just great to get a feel for them. So much of that was done through polling, and polls are still wonderful, and we have great poll usage. We had nearly 9 million poll votes on our site for the month of September, which is great, but polls again are very straightforward and very one-sided. We don't get kind of the story about why people are voting that way. So especially with something like Facebook, it's really great to see why people are reacting the way that they are.
Well, one of the things. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Aaron. Do you have a question?
No, actually, I was just going to make a comment. I was just going to say what's great about that is it's just showing again how using social media within a news format, whether it be entertainment or not, and being able to interact is way more effective these days in comparison to media. I'm not going to name names, but certain people will try to use, certain stations will try to use social media, but they don't actually interact. And I've seen your Facebook page, and I see that you're actually interacting and you're actually putting forth an effort to not only connect with your readers, but to also take them as credible sources and using what they're saying and saying, oh, you know what, we made a mistake, or I just think it's great. I think that what you're doing is wonderful, and PopEater is an absolutely great read.
Well,
I love your little widget, by the way. Your widget is amazing, and that right there, talking about that, I have that on my profile, and it's just like reading through a magazine, which was a great concept. So,
well, thanks.
I think it's great.
Yeah, and to your point, it's when Michael Jackson died, and obviously, in my time at AOL working with news, it's obviously the biggest event that we've ever covered. But there was such Farrah Fawcett had died earlier in the day, and there was so much attention around Farrah Fawcett dying and the documentary that she did that NBC had aired, and obviously it was something that everybody was prepared for. It was going to happen at some point. But the fact that Michael Jackson died, let's say, I think it was probably about 5 hours later that TMZ first reported the news that he was on his way to the hospital. I mean, we had an outpouring of and this came from both Twitter and Facebook, but specifically Facebook, where, fans of Farrah Fawcett were devastated that Farrah's day was overshadowed by the King of Pop dying. And in a case like that where we had so many people kind of remembering, we basically asked the fans on Facebook, it's like, we hear what you're saying, we completely understand it, and it makes plenty of sense, give us your Farrah Fawcett memories. And, that to us, it's wonderful. It turns into content on our site. We take the Facebook comments, and certainly we're reacting with them on Facebook. We bring that back into TwEater.com, and we had a great piece about it, too, that, again, got the fans on Facebook more exposure. We look at fans as we would look at any other kind of contributor. Everything that they're saying is wonderful and valid, and we really take it to heart. So, to your point, Aaron, it's great to kind of tap into that and use it and really hear what they're saying and help it actually create content back on our on our main site.
Right. That's a good point. I mean, but and I was going to ask you, what does TwEater look for in a story? Who's that? I was going to ask you, what does TwEater look for in a story? And you kind of covered that. Are you trying to gain breaking news, celebrity death type stories, or more like general reporting, like Kate Hudson having a baby, or Lindsay Lohan going back into rehab after crashing her car again, or the Gosselin divorce, or what's going on there? I mean, and that leads up to the next question that I want to ask. Are there any celebrities that you all associate with? I mean, are there any ones that, like, and I don't want to throw a name out there, but let's just say you hang out with Jason Urgo to find out what Aaron Ryan's doing on weekends. Do you have, like, celebrities that are, like, behind the scenes telling you what's going on? Without naming names.
Okay. Well, I'll answer the first question first, and that is, I mean, we're honestly looking to cover any story that we think that obviously that our editors find interesting, that we think that that people are honestly looking for. And the baby news is there, and the breakups are there, and the couples are there. But we certainly are also, we rely very heavily on. We work very closely with a lot of other wonderful brands and TMZ and People and us. So we certainly are working with them. We're working with their editors so that when they're working on a big story, we're talking during the day to find out what they're covering, and if the story is starting there, we certainly position that way. We love to lead people to our partners, even though we're kind of creating a different kind of package around it. It's a lot of times we're covering trends, and it's just obviously the editors are looking at stories and kind of doing their own spin and their own take, or really creating some kind of interactive package around it. But I mean, really, honestly, it's really anything that anybody's talking about in the world of entertainment. And again, that could be small stories that are just it's a YouTube trend that we're noticing. People who are putting viral videos together that have some kind of trend that they're looking at. It's going to be in a sense to a different audience than something than a Kate Hudson cheering on A-Rod at the Yankees game last night. But we tried to do it again with the same kind of energetic tone. So in a certain way, we're looking to I mean, like when we've been using YouTube for years now, and when we started using YouTube, we were building stories specifically around YouTube, and we were always polling our readers, how many people are using YouTube every day. And of course, it started off as a very small majority, and now obviously everybody in the world and their grandmother uses YouTube. So we're not afraid to put that out there, and the new technologies and the new toys, and we just hope that it's going to be of interest to everybody in terms of the way that we package it. And the second question, we're definitely not cool to behave. I mean, as I told you, I'm like waiting for my son with his potty training.
Right.
So I'm definitely not out at any kind of party tonight or anything. I mean, we talk with a lot of celebrities, lots of interviews, a lot of great stars are coming into to talk with us in our offices and in our studio, and both our studio that we have in New York, at AOL Studio in New York, and AOL Studio out in Los Angeles. And that's anybody from Beyonce coming in to Pink, to Zach Gilford from Friday Night Lights, to Elliot Yamin from American Idol. I mean, it could be everybody and anybody. So we obviously are doing a lot of interviews, and that's really how we're talking with a lot of the stars. It's not like we have insider stars who are kind of calling us up to give us any scoop, but we love talking with, again, we're very celebrity friendly in that we love to talk with the stars. We love to see what they're doing. We love when Catherine McPhee comes in and shows us her beautiful new hairstyle and talks to us about the projects that she's working on. So I mean, it's obviously just a great opportunity to be working with the people that we're covering. And to really hear from them, honestly, what they're doing, how they're using the internet, what sites they're looking at, how they're in their news, how they're using Twitter, and all the other fun stuff that goes along with that.
Nice, nice. JD keeps flashing up there. One of the Baldwin boys, I don't know. I got to ask this question, spur of the moment. What have you met more of? Arquette sisters or Baldwin brothers?
Who have we met more of?
Yeah.
I believe we've talked with more Baldwins than Arquettes, and this is our second time talking with Stephen Baldwin. I think we talked with him a few months ago when he was on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and he came in to visit us in our New York studios, and he's a great personality. You feel the energy coming off of him. So I think more Baldwins to answer your question. We love them all. We love all the dynasties.
Very good. Hey, let me ask you. And again, this is a little bit different than the last question in the sense that, like, do you know, like, without naming any names, do you know any inside sources for particular celebrities? Just let's say that, do you know, like, if Erin Ryan was going on tour, do you know, like, her housekeeper knows what's going on? I mean, someone to give you a heads up, hey, you know, AKA Britney Spears is going to be heading out. You can send your paparazzi out, and you can get the fill on this particular star, whether it be Victor Barrera or Erin Ryan or J.D. Rucker or whoever.
Yeah,
do you have people to call and report to you and, like, hey, you know, for $10, I'll tell you every time that J.D. Rucker's going to be coming out and about.
Right. I mean, and no, we're not working with tipsters that way. I mean, we're getting wonderful information. Again, working closely with the AOL Music team, and I mean, AOL Music is, you know, they're wonderful sites that they have under there. It's, you know, Spinner.com for indie, and it's The Boot for country music, and it's Noise Creep for heavy metal, and Pop Eater is the extension of their pop music offering. So we're working obviously with lots of the people who are speaking with the labels and who are speaking with the artists. So we're getting a lot of news directly from the artists themselves. And again, it's the partnerships. You know, an MO of myself and the other editors on the site are to work closely with the other brands, other great brands in the world of celebrity, so that we're finding out news from them. So I mean, you know, TMZ obviously is, you know, again, breaking the Michael Jackson story. They have wonderful inside sources that are going to be able to do that. We're putting a different kind of spin on the Michael Jackson package, but the news that's coming in from a site like TMZ, or if CNN is saying something different, if People is saying something different, part of what we're doing is not necessarily working with a source that's giving us the details on one story, but it's to really work with all these brands across the web and really kind of see if 30 seconds ago one site said something, and then at 30 seconds another site is saying something, really kind of making sure that the reader that's coming in doesn't have to go track it down across the internet. They can come to our page, and we're going to keep track of it for them. So it's more of working with the sources that are coming from big sources to kind of get what they're working on in real time, and just be updating it on the fly. And in certain cases, when you have stories like that, like a Michael Jackson story where the details are changing every moment, and TMZ is reporting one thing and CNN is not reporting another thing, and to kind of, you know, offer that all up just to let somebody know why they might be hearing something one way and why a friend might be tweeting one thing when they're watching TV and it's saying something else, to kind of the challenges, and it's a great challenge to condense that and put that all in a package and make somebody really kind of understand exactly what's going on as we're seeing it.
That's cool. I do remember that kind of saga of TMZ reporting it and LA Times later confirming it. And it seems like a long process in terms of, the news cycle, so to speak. But speaking of sources, we have a great question from one of our very good friends of the show, Mitch D. What do the sources look like in terms of the traffic for PopEater? Is a lot of it internalized via the AOL network? Is it social media, places like Digg, TwEater? How does that kind of break down?
I would say that, obviously, with AOL Portal behind us, a great amount of traffic is coming from that, but, at the same time, we have great external traffic that's coming in relationship to partnerships that we have. It's the way that we look at it is any of the people who we're in the space with, all the other brands. It's no joke that we look at them as family in the sense that we all like to help each other out in terms of you want to be the first stop destination, but you also want to make sure that people are getting to the source that they need to get to. So that is working closely with a people.com or with an us or with an EW. Or with a ton of our own internal sites, working closely with MoviePhone and with the blogs that MoviePhone runs, like an InsideMovies.com or a Cinematical.com, and kind of spreading it around. So, really, in terms of how much traffic is coming in from Facebook or from Twitter, it's not the majority, but we've been very encouraged by. It's a number that continues to climb. We haven't seen it level off yet in terms of either Twitter or Facebook. It continues to grow at a very good rate, and it's also dependent on the story, obviously, too. It's there's some stories that are going to resonate more with a Facebook following. There's some stories that are just going to surge well on Google for us, and the majority of traffic is just going to come from search engine traffic, and people just kind of finding it organically, which is wonderful. There's some stories that just work well in a feed that's out there that might not work as well even on the main page of our site. So hopefully that answers the question a variety of different ways in terms of the traffic breakdown.
Oh, no, that's really cool, and I think it's really awesome that you guys are seeing pretty seemingly steady increases in some of the social news traffic, from Facebook, from Twitter, from Digg, because it seems like across the board, those social media communities are just playing larger roles in terms of web info and traffic in general.
No, absolutely, and we work. There's a site that we work with at AOL, Earlesque.com. They're a wonderful site. They cover internet trends. They're fanatic about it. If you're not familiar with the site, you should check it out. They're great. They just did that Day Without Cats ban. To ban all cats across the internet for on September 9th, and it got a ton of great coverage. It was picked up everywhere from is it Ben who does the cheeseburger sites for pet holdings? Yeah. From there to BBC to CNN, it was covered, and they again they've been Facebooking and tweeting long before any of us, and they just look around sometimes. Again, the spikes that they see in certain stories where, almost all the traffic is coming just from one Facebook link. It's, granted, it's great and it's encouraging. Again, I think it's also just a matter of working with your fans and finding the right stories that are really going to resonate. Looking at Twitter and Facebook are completely different mechanisms, obviously, with different followers, and we treat them completely differently. Editors and all the editors, myself included, are tweeting and are Facebooking, all day long, doing some stumble. And again, it's not just setting up, as I know some sites do, setting up your Twitter feed to automatically populate your Facebook feed, or setting up an RSS feed to automatically populate your Twitter. They're really separate, and we look at what like an Earlesque does or what we do, and just look at. There's an audience that a story is just going to be gangbusters for Facebook, and we'll go and we'll write a story that's just for them, really, because that's really, they're going to react to it, and it might not be great for the front page of our site, which might be more of a mass market following here and there. But the Facebook people are telling us that they want different kinds of content sometimes, and we're hoping to give it to them.
Nice, that's awesome.
That is awesome. This is JD, Jason. I did a few searches on the site. I really wanted to test. We know that Facebook, Twitter is doing awesome, but I did basically the Digg litmus test, and I did searches for Glenn Beck and Megan Fox and bacon, and it seems like there are definitely a lot of stories about those three things. The content itself seems to be very viral. Have you guys seen any traffic from Digg.com or Reddit.com or Stumble or any of the social news aggregators?
Definitely mostly Digg, and again it's I feel that, I mean, we're behind the game in terms of Digg. We're kind of just getting our feet wet on it, really. I mean, we've certainly had, you know, some stories here and there, and they've been more sporadic. What's been great is that we've been obviously focusing a bit more on, you know, again, it's with Digg, you know, obviously the source that breaks the story a lot of times is going to get the play for it, which is, you know, if Nicole Kidman's having a baby, and that is a story, and it's not necessarily the story. I'm not saying that that's a story that was.
She's having a baby.
But what was that?
She's having a baby.
With Nicole having a baby.
You guys heard it here first on Social Blade. At Pop Eater's reporting that.
She had Baby Sunday with Keith Urban. I mean, the great thing about Nicole was that she was reportedly having the baby, denied having the baby. Melissa says she wasn't having the baby, had the baby. It's one news event that we got 5 stories out, and that's a great story. And we would expect that when she has the baby, the source that's breaking it's going to be the one that's going to get the movement on Digg. So it's really, again, kind of looking at a trend piece and an unusual take. I mean, the best thing about Digg is you look at it, and if you think that every list in the world has been done, it hasn't, and it's a great challenge to kind of sit there and kind of look around and just think of something unusual. I mean, the challenge is also basing a list in a way which we like to do, and kind of basing it off of something that's completely topical. You know, we have a feature on our site. It's a Pop 10 list, and it's a list that's inspired by news events of the day. But you know, a lot of times, again, you're waiting for the right news event to have that happen with. If you know, if Charlie Sheen is going to sign a deal for $22 million, you know, for a season of 2.5 Men, and we want to think of the 10 best ways that he should be spending his money, we want to kind of build the list based off of that news event that day. You know, so again, it's just kind of looking at it and kind of looking at the trends and really what people are responding to, and again, just trying to think in a way that's very natural. That, you know, hopefully the best way you want your stuff to get on there is it's just a natural, great story. That just obviously the best stuff on there is the stuff that's just coming from the heart and people just really respond to naturally, not stuff that is created specifically just to surge on it.
Hey, Jason, I hate to cut this short. That we're still doing the hour-long show, but we're close to that limit. Let me ask you this one last question. Name the story that got Pop Eater the most notoriety, and was it the most popular story? I mean, just the biggest story that Pop Eater broke.
The biggest story that Pop Eater broke probably is I would say that there are two. One is when Pink was in our studio last fall, talking about Sarah Palin and how Sarah Palin hates women, and I mean, she was really the first celebrity that really got out there. This is before Matt Damon came out with his notorious "Does she believe the dinosaurs walked the earth 4,000 years ago?" video. Pink was really out there first to say that and to really challenge Sarah Palin. And it's a story that just completely took off for us, and it was just, again, it was part of a great. She came in and she did a sessions, and it was a great long interview. The interview wasn't just about Sarah, but it did kind of explode for us. So that was great. I mean, actually, before, when we were working underneath AOL News, before we actually took the Pop Eater brand, we did. It was a reaction to. I think it was. If I'm getting the brand wrong, I apologize. It might have been Maxim.com. That had their unsexiest women list. And one of the editors on my team took exception to that it was just unsexy women, and she did a list of unsexy men and put Howard Stern on that list.
Was I there?
You were not. Come on, no way.
Was I?
No, you were not. None of
That may have been.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to be really famous to make the list. That's right.
Sexiest men you'd be on. But That's a story again that that was on anywhere from CNN and E and we had and Howard Stern did a major rant on it, and he uses it as a bumper on his show every once in a while. So again, it's no bigger Howard Stern fan in the world than this guy right here. But hey, you know what? If he didn't like something, he wanted to talk about it. It was great for the site. So we'll take that.
Yeah, true that.
Beautiful.
Josh, can't thank you enough for joining us tonight, opening up and telling us, a lot about the site.
And you too, Jason.
Where can people?
Thank you.
Where can people come and? What'd I say, Josh? I'm sorry, Jason.
I get it all the time. It's all right.
No, I'm looking at Josh Charles leaving. We're going to post sites for popeater.com and your Twitter so people can follow you and your Facebook and try and get in there and maybe submit some things to Digg and so on and so forth. And, because it's starting to pop on Digg.
Yeah, we're happy about that, and we thank everybody for the support. And again, popeater.com and facebook.com/popeater and twitter.com/popeater, and join us and follow us and talk to us, and we'll talk back to you. And we're just having fun. So come have fun with us, please. We're having a good time.
We definitely will.
Yeah, and do me a favor, like the rest of the guests on the show, add me to your Twitter account, and then when I'm not paying attention, drop me in a couple days like everyone else. So
there you go.
That work out handy.
Consider it done.
Excellent.
I'm sorry my son did not urinate for us tonight. So,
go ahead and record it. Put it on YouTube. We'll play it for next week's show. That'll be our intro.
It'll be next time.
Excellent.
Guys, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Jason. Don't forget, we do have an after show. You're more than welcome to come on for the after show. I do want to thank our guests.
Yeah, hang tight, Jason. Hang tight.
Thank our guests in the audience as well. This has been Jason Kaufman at popeater.com. I also want to thank hothardware.com, our wonderful sponsor. They've been our sponsor for now the 6th or 7th straight week. They have just really done what they can to make this show what it is. And I want to end the show, if possible, with a song. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Thanksgiving in Canada this weekend. I promised I would
Happy
say
Thanksgiving,
that.
Aaron.
Happy Thanksgiving, Aaron, and all of our Canadian guests. Not that we have anything against Canadians. It's just, it's Canada. I do want to...
They need to learn how to use the calendar.
I know. It's not even November. Anyway, I wanted to play a little song. Jason, can you give us a quick intro on where this song came from?
There's someone on Twitter named Melissa Suzanne who basically took the I'm You song by Jason Mraz and mixed it together with some lyrics specific to Twitter. And it's just a great song. We all loved it and thought we'd share it with you here.
Absolutely. So on behalf of the Social Blade team, I'd like to thank you. Remember to catch us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and 11:30 if you are in the wonderful Canadian area of wherever it is, Newfoundland or something like that. Thank you all.
Stop by Aaron and Amanda's house and have some pumpkin pie on Monday.
If you see a house and you're in Newfoundland, it's probably Aaron's and Amanda's. With that said, thank you all, and don't forget, we are Social Blade. I'm going to leave you with a wonderful Twitter song, and stay tuned for the after show with Patrick Parise. And
thank you, everybody. Wait a minute. Somebody else is staying too, right?
Well, a lot of people are. I'm staying. I'm just saying that it's your show. I'm just here to help.
Hey, play the song, dude. I gotta pee.
Jason, do me a big favor, please, sir. Can you play the song for me? Because it's just not coming through on my audio very well.
Got it.
And again, this is with permission from...
Well, I used to be the kind of person spending time on MySpace until the scammers ended up taking over my place, and I was so bitter until I found TwEater. Oh, a place where you can go ahead and write what you're feeling. 140 characters or less, what you give. My addiction starts to climb. I go to refresh my time, 'cause I won't stop tweeting no more. It cannot wait, I'm sure. finally figured how to respond to an I reply. I got a DM from a marketer guy. I gained some followers as I felt love. And if I like something that you post, then I will retweet. I hope that you'll do the same for me. Follow Fridays always make me feel love. No, and I won't stop tweeting no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure every day and night I tweet to pass the time. Without it, I lose my mind. Do. Come on, sweet over here, my dear. So I was doing my hourly surf of the new trending topics, checking out the news and catching up on the gossip when the whale came on my screen. Twitter's over capacity. Oh, the time that this stuff was going to upload my tweet. I've got the Twitter shakes, yes I could be addicted, and there's no moving on until I'm able to log on, 'cause I can't stop tweeting no more. I'm addicted, I'm sure, and I find it hard to keep up with my lives. I need to unfollow all the guys. They're crowding up my timeline and I don't feel dumb, I'm sure. And if I like something that you post, then I will retweet. I hope that you'll do the same for me. And it's your Twitter right to feel love. Do.